In 2016, British football coach Gary White was hired by former Chinese Super League team Shanghai Shenxin, who at the time had just been relegated to League One of China, the second tier of Chinese football. I went over there to be one of the assistant coaches at Shanghai Shenxin. Shanghai Shenxin are now gone, evaporated, disappeared, but do not exist. However, during our time there, we faced some big opposition, some big players, and one of their matches included Champions League winner with Juventus, World Cup winner as an assistant coach with Italy, the very well known, depending how old you are, Ciro Ferrara. I'm Matt Ward, this is Just Football and Soccer, and I'm going to talk you through the story where we face Ferrara and the backroom staff of the England national team right now. At the time Gary White took over Shanghai Shenxin, it was halfway through the season. That's when I joined him as well, and also another British coach, Louis Lancaster. And at that time, a group of South Korean staff had just left, and Shanghai Shenxin, the team, were in a mess. They was in a relegation zone, and they was in a relegation battle. Now, this is from the previous season, a Chinese Super League team. So it was a massive downfall. Had an amazing squad, but the squad was all mixed up. We had first team players playing in the reserve team. We had reserve team players and troublemakers in the first team. Everyone was unfit. Everyone's morale was really destroyed. And nobody thought it would end up how it did, where we actually ended up just coming outside the promotion places by about 6 or 7 points. Now, for those who aren't aware, any away match is difficult, but especially away matches in different continents or in certain countries, you're not meant to win away matches. It's kind of a golden rule, if you get my meaning. So we went to Wuhan Zall, who was in the relegation battle with us. However, they had spent a lot of money bringing Ciro Ferrara in and his backroom staff. They was pushing for promotion, but ended up finding themselves, like I said, in a relegation battle. So we went over to Wuhan Zall. So Wuhan, yes, rightly or wrongly, the center of the COVID outbreak, depending on what you believe. Beautiful city, by the way. We went over there and it was a must win. Now, all you need to do in Asia is lose a couple of games, and the owners, who at the time was multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever they are, they can wake up and get rid of you the next day. It doesn't matter. So we go there. We set up for training the night before the match, and we get there, and on paper we've got a better squad. However, taking over a team this season, results have been terrible. Momentum is with Wuhan Zall, and they've spent some big money on some bigger Chinese players. So the pressure is on. Well, majority of pressure is on the gaffer, on the head coach Gary, because he's the one taking all the flack, and we're the ones losing our jobs with him. So this was the game changer. So we went there, training the night before the match, and then away. The pitch was just humid. It was small. It looked like something from Cambodia. So the background of it was kind of temple-esque, and all of the staff from Wuhan Zall were putting out cameras and trying to film our training session. So straight away, the fun and games was starting, and was trying to block them, say you can't. And then they were saying, well, we can, it's our ground. And we're saying, you can't just stand and film us train and then dissect our training session, which is basically our pre-training before the game the next day. It doesn't make sense. So big argument, bit of fighting, got through that. Anyway, match day. Okay, we're staying in. We're going to be coaching in China for a little bit longer, or potentially we're going home. The team will get relegated, and that's it. Finished, done. See you later. So game day came. I'm nervous as hell, even though I wasn't the main coach. I'm just there as an assistant picking up bibs, but I always get nervous. So we go out at the start, and walking around before the warm-up starts on the pitch, and me and Louis go and we have a little chat and meet and greet with the opposition staff. So Ciro Ferrara's backroom staff, who are Italian. Now, the Italians, much older than me at the time, I was probably in my early to mid 30s, and on arrival, the club just gave us some ill-fitted uniform, and oh yeah, that's the mate do. Oh great, it's Nike. Well, to begin with, it was Nike, and then it went to count me, and then you're thinking, well, that doesn't really fit me, but you've got no choice. You're just giving it. There wasn't any time to like try it on and look amazing. Not that I could look amazing anyway. Belly's hanging out everywhere. So I'm wearing this like I've just come from a thrift shop or something, and these older Italian gentlemen are there, and it's like they were glowing, tan, dark hair, kind of knowing who they are. So we went up, we had a chat, we said hello, really nice guys, and it just shows you a downfall of, look, I can speak a bit of Chinese now and some other languages, not as much as I would like to, but some of British coaches maybe can't speak other languages. Now, at the time, I can't speak Italian. I lived in Italy for a bit, but they spoke like perfect English. So we spoke in English and said, hey, how you doing, guys? Like, how's China treating you? We had small talk. And then they said, oh, where was you working before this? And I'm thinking in the back of my head, do they know? Are they taking a piss, or are they measuring cocks or what? They will probably win. And I said, I was in the Philippines Premier League, like trying to big up the Philippines Premier League. No disrespect to the Philippines Premier League, but what I was about to find out, it didn't kind of equate to the realms in which they've been living in. So yeah, that was that. I tried to big that up. Louis said, I was in Dubai previously at Watford, so good level. And then I said, what about you guys? Where were you? Were you back in Italy, whatever? And they looked at each other and just had a little laugh, but it wasn't like a swarmy laugh. And they said, we was once working for Capello for the England national team. And I just laughed out loud and said, it's pretty decent then. Yeah, have a good one tonight, gents. And we had a laugh, light-hearted, bit of bants, and then parted ways. So they're facing Ciro Ferrara, English backroom staff. Look, I don't know the names or details, but they were involved. But they wouldn't have said it also if not. And they had the money to back in. We had a little bit of momentum, but both teams were down in this relegation battle. And this is basically could be who's going to keep their jobs or not. Everything's on the line. So go into the match, and you're not meant to win away. And likely teams or clubs with money end up getting a lot of decisions. Take from that what you would like. And yeah, we ended up winning 3-1 in an absolute unbelievable start. We ended up going 3-0 up in the first half. We were absolutely immense. We blitzed it. They got a goal back 3-1. They had a man sent off late, nearly on the 90-minute mark. They lost their heads. They couldn't take it. Sore losers. We survived. And what a win it was. Then, the funny thing was the next day, normally when you go away, you take your reserve team, or they travel the day after because they play a reserve match against the team's reserve match. So we go around the next day, we're watching reserves play as you do, and Ferrara sat over on the other side, and he's sat having a cigarette. And the owner's there, it's this Chinese owner's there, and he's animated, and you can see him gesturing with his hands, and he's telling Ferrara what he should have been doing yesterday. And Ferrara, Champions League winner, just been coaching, won a World Cup with Italy as a coach, as assistant coach, and he's just sat there like that, not really paying attention with a cigarette, even smoking like a stylish Italian. And we looked across and we just thought, that could have been us. Well, that could have been Gary. We could have been gone. So no one is immune to getting an earful of a master tacticians of a club owner, especially in clubs in Asia. If you're from Asia, you're around Asia, or you've coached in Asia, you know exactly what I mean. And that is the story, how we, with a lot of help from the gaffer, a lot of help from the players, a lot of help from Louis, a lot of help from me picking up the bibs and distributing some cones. And we was able to beat Ciro Ferrara and the backroom staff of the England football national team. So for more stories and videos and Premier League updates and news from around the world, click on the videos and playlist right now.